So, difficult thing to put into words, really. But 2nd of December, I was here with a couple of mates, actually down in the shed having a coffee, and the next door neighbour roared down in a little car and said, "There's smoke coming from your house." At first, it didn't register, and I don't know, kind of thought she was joking. So we ran up here, and sure enough, the place was engulfed in smoke. Opened these back doors here, and the heat just like pushed out. It was quite surreal. It was black inside. I'd just been in there probably 20, 25 minutes earlier before we went down the shed. So went around the side, turned the mains, the electricity off. By the time I went back to the back part here, flames just exploded. The windows exploded out of the top of the house and the loft, and really from then on it was a bit of a haze. Really, the police turned up very quickly. The fire department turned up very quickly, and it's like it was all in fast motion, but in slow motion. It's just the house was just disappearing in front of me. Obviously, you look at the silver lining in all of this. You look at the positives, and definitely the positive was that my girls weren't home. Nui had taken Pepper to kindy and then was going to do some shopping. So I rang her and I said, "Listen, don't come back for a few hours until I tell you it's calmed down here," because there was literally trucks and fireys and police officers and choppers above us, news crews at the end of the road. It was kind of crazy, and it still feels like a bit of a dream, really. I mean, 2 years ago on this porch in this exact spot, with my girls running around. Well, not Connie, she wasn't born then, but Pepper running around, and my mate Vess, and the family and their kids and Nui, and we're all sitting around this area having dinner. And then after dinner, we wrote "Homegrown Love." So it's really surreal to be sitting here now in the rubble, thinking that this was the spot that Homegrown Love was written, and now it's the spot that probably in a few short days there's going to be an excavator in here and completely tear it to the ground. So after the fire, it was probably a day or so of disbelief, really trying to process what had just happened. But the main focus of Nui and myself was to not let our daughters feel that something was wrong. We didn't want them to feel like, "Oh my God, there's something wrong, and Mummy and Daddy are upset, and we're not safe." So for our girls, it was a case of making them feel like we were on an adventure, making them feel like we're camping in the shed, because we were sleeping on a mattress down in the shed. So in front of them, we were trying to make it feel like a shed holiday. And when they were asleep, or Nana had them, or they were distracted, we were like in his days thinking, what just happened? Where do we go from here? What do we, how do we rebuild from here? Start trying to look into the future with this thing hanging over our head. There were simple things. Connie started to get a temperature a couple of days afterwards. So I remember going, "Oh, get the thermometer, let's check the temperature. We both looked at each other and go, we don't have a thermometer, you know. So it's simple little things like that. You realise over the course of the next week or so, we just started to realise that we really didn't have anything. You know, all of those little things, insignificant things, things you take for granted, were kind of just gone. You know, there was so much love and support, and and empathy from people in the industry, friends, family, acquaintances. Just everyone sort of was reaching out, but it was one of those times when people, when you don't know what to say, you really just thank you, thanks for your love and support. I really didn't know what to say because I was really trying to process it all. But the outpouring of love was beautiful. It certainly did make us feel like we weren't alone, but it didn't help us in the way of where do we go from here? How do we move forward? As I said, the main thing was our girls, and they were safe. So all this stuff, it can be rebuilt and replaced. But our time with the girls, and that's the most important thing, obviously. After the fire, we started fixing up the shed a little bit more and making it kind of habitable. We then sort of started to settle down a bit. Okay, we processed it a bit, and then Christmas came around, so that was a little distraction, a nice distraction, family around, and then Christmas Day the storms hit. And I remember Christmas night, this wild storm outside, and the girls were asleep, and then the power went off, and it was like, okay, and then it didn't come back on for a week. So for that next week, it was trying to live with generators hooked up to water pumps to run a shower, and then hook it up to a toilet when someone needed to go to the toilet, and then hook it up to the fridge for a few hours, and running leads all over the place. So that unsettling feeling that we've just gone through with the fire was sort of continuing. And then the rains hit. And then the shed flooded. I mean, I know it sounds like a movie that you sit there and watch and think, no, that can't be happening. But it kind of just did. I remember a point there we had 2 generators running, leads running everywhere, things half running, half going, and those rains, and then the water just flooding through. Now, I'm not saying it flooded, didn't flood us out like when you think of floods, but the water was torrential, and it started coming through the shed. So we had lifted everything up, about 3 or 4 inches, I suppose. And I remember sitting there thinking, what have I done? What's going on? So yeah, it's been a month. But again, everything that Nui and myself and the family are focused on is just that our girls feel like they're safe. Feel like, oh, Daddy's got this under control. Mummy and Daddy know what they're doing. As long as there's food and some toys and Barbies and things to play with, life goes on. And really, it's actually really true. Because life does go on, life will go on, and life is going on, despite losing staff. And I guess 2024, that's what it's about for us.